Welcome back to the channel, my people, and thank you for joining me today. What we're discussing right now is one of the most dramatic and consequential military diplomatic incidents West Africa has seen in recent months, an event that has thrown Nigeria, Burkina Faso, and the entire region into a fresh storm of tension, uncertainty, and urgent questions about the future of regional stability. Tonight, we take a deep dive into the shocking detention of 11 Nigerian Air Force personnel after their C-130 Hercules aircraft made an emergency landing in Bobo-Dioulasso, Burkina Faso. This story is not just about a plane. It is about trust, politics, power, and the fragile ties holding West Africa together. It all began in the skies, tens of thousands of feet above ground, when distress signals began flashing inside the cockpit of the C-130 Hercules. Picture this: alarms buzzing, controls shaking, pilots exchanging sharp, tense words as they fought to stabilize a massive military aircraft spiraling into technical trouble. They had seconds, not minutes, to make a life or death decision. With engines straining and systems warning of imminent failure, they diverted course and descended toward the nearest airstrip capable of handling such a heavy aircraft, Bobo-Dioulasso in Burkina Faso. But what should have been a routine emergency landing instantly transformed into the opening scene of a regional political drama. The moment the wheels of that C-130 touched the runway, it was no longer only about mechanics. It became a diplomatic flashpoint. Allied officers in Burkina Faso rushed to the aircraft, treating the Nigerian crew not as distressed personnel, but as suspects. Within hours, all 11 of them were detained, accused of illegally entering AES-controlled airspace without authorization. In a region already bristling with mistrust and shifting alliances, every move is viewed through the lens of suspicion, competition, and political alignment. To fully understand this crisis, we must look beyond the runway. The Alliance of Sahel States, AES, led by Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, has recently distanced itself from ECOWAS and has aligned more closely with alternative security blocs. In this climate, the Nigerian military aircraft didn't land in neutral territory. It landed in politically charged airspace. The Burkinabe authorities handled the incident with rigid intensity, sealing off communication, detaining the crew immediately, and signaling that any breach, intentional or not, would not be taken lightly. For them, this was not just a malfunctioning aircraft. It was a potential violation of sovereignty. But for Nigerians watching this unfold, the emotional impact is massive. These are our men, our pilots, engineers, and servicemen, people with families who kissed them goodbye not knowing they would be held in a foreign military facility. Imagine their wives refreshing their phones every minute, parents whispering prayers in the early hours of the morning, and children asking, "When is daddy coming home?" This is not just a geopolitical story. It is human, it is personal, and it strikes deep into the heart of a nation already burdened by insecurity, rising tensions, and a leadership struggling to stabilize itself. This detention challenges Nigeria's influence in West Africa. A nation that once commanded respect as a stabilizing force now finds itself questioned, resisted, and in many cases undermined. And this is happening at a time when Nigeria's internal political climate is deeply fragile. With rising insecurity at home, economic pressures squeezing citizens, and public confidence in government declining, an international embarrassment of this scale only intensifies national frustration. This moment forces us to ask deeper questions. How did we get here? Why is Nigeria's regional authority weakening? And what does it mean when our military personnel operating an aircraft in distress are treated as intruders instead of neighbors? It highlights the growing fragmentation of West Africa, the collapse of trust among nations, and the dangerous speed at which alliances are shifting. We must also acknowledge the real-world consequences. Diplomatically, Nigeria now has to negotiate from a position of vulnerability. Militarily, morale is shaken. Regionally, the path forward is uncertain. But this crisis also presents an opportunity for Nigeria to rethink its foreign policy, to rebuild strategic alliances, and to strengthen its internal leadership so that our nation can once again project stability, clarity, and purpose. We need communication channels between nations that prioritize human lives over political tensions. We need a Nigeria that speaks with moral authority, backed by transparent governance and strong institutions. We need diplomatic professionalism that prevents emergencies from becoming international incidents. Most importantly, we need a government that carries the trust of its people, because no nation can lead abroad when it is divided at home. As we wait for these 11 officers to be released, Nigeria must push for dialogue, accountability, and respect for international aviation protocols. This crisis must not be allowed to widen the geopolitical cracks already threatening West Africa. Instead, it must push us toward cooperation, clarity, and renewed unity. My people, this is a wake-up call, not just to policymakers, but to all Nigerians. If we truly want a safer and more respected country, we must demand stronger leadership, active diplomacy, and a national mindset that prioritizes justice, security, and accountability. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this breakdown insightful, please like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, share it widely, and subscribe for more bold, truth-centered content. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to engaging with you again in the next video.